.exe file, that is an executable file. Or if you were working on Linux platform, then you would have got .out as the object code. So that was specific to the machine or the platform that you were working on. Whereas now the Java program is compiled and a class file is generated. If you just see uh, what my directory contains, my class star.star, you can see there are two files here. One is .java, this is my source, and it has generated a file named myclass.class. This class is a collection of bytecodes which are machine independent. And as we saw yesterday, these bytecodes will be executed by what we call Java virtual machine. Okay, that is Java runtime environment makes use of the specific virtual machine, okay, and interprets the bytecodes specific to that machine. Okay. That is how the Java achieves platform independence. Now, how do I execute this program? I need to use an interpreter. That is, Java is the name of the interpreter, to which the class file that we just generated will be the input. So if I say Java my class, it will display me the message hello world, which my program is supposed to be doing. That is, if you can see here, my program is supposed to display hello world, and Java interpreter has interpreted the bytecodes contained in the class file and generated the message hello world. Okay, and this program that we just wrote, that is the source file that we just wrote, is machine independent. That is, write once, run many times. So you can take the same Java source code, move to a Linux machine, or move to a Sun Solaris machine, or to an Android OS, and the source code remains the same, whereas the class file that is generated will be interpreted by the JRE specific to that operating system. Hope I made myself clear on this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. Coming back here, let us understand a few of the terms here. We already have understood what is void. Okay, void is the return type associated with the function or the method. Main is the method, and main method doesn't return anything. Okay, remember this. In Java, main method doesn't return anything. Okay, it cannot be public static int main, or it cannot be public static double main. It has to be public static void main. Okay, so the return type is mandatorily void in Java. Okay, now why do we make this static? Okay. Remember, the Java runtime environment will have to create. Is the font size okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. JRE has to execute the main method, right? Because program execution starts from main method contained in the class. Okay. Now, in order to invoke this method, okay, as you understand from the previous course, that is C++, in order to invoke any member function or a method contained in a class, you need to have an object. Correct? It is object dot method name. That is how you invoke a method. But now, who has to create an object of this class? Okay. Someone has to create an object of this class. Now, having JRE to create an object of all the classes associated with all the Java applications that the people write, okay, doesn't seem natural. So what we do is we attach static as the specifier for main method. And as you know, if at all a method is made static, then you don't have to invoke an object of that class, or you do not have to instantiate an object of that class to execute that method. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the for a static method execution takes this form: class name dot method name. This is how a static method is invoked, whereas a normal method can be executed as this. You need to create an object of that class, and then on that object you can invoke the method. Okay, are these things clear? Okay, if it is a static method, then you can invoke it directly as class name dot method name, whereas if it is a normal method, then you first have to create an object of that class. Only then can you invoke that method using that object, that is object dot method name. Now JRE doesn't have an idea about what the name of the class is all about for all the Java applications. So what JRE does is it makes use of the class name dot method name. So in this case, it will look like my class dot main. Okay, this is how it has to be invoked. In order for main to be invoked like this, main has to be made a static method. Okay, that is first point. That is the second point. The return type is always void. Second point is the method that needs to be executed by the JRE has to be a static method. And why do we make it a public? Okay, the answer is obvious. Can anybody attempt as to why it has to be public?
It can be accessed
We can
by
access
anybody.
outside the class.
Yeah,
We can access outside the class as well.
very good, very good. Okay, if it were a normal method, then it would have defaulted to a private method. Okay, now all private members of a class are accessible within the class. This you know by your previous course. Okay, all the members of a class that are private to the class will remain private. They cannot be accessed outside the class. So if main were to be accessed outside this class by the Java runtime environment, then it has to be made as a public method. So the access specifier or the visibility specifier must be public. That is the third point. So why main has to be a void method? Because the language developers restrict main not to return anything. Second, why is it static? Because main method has to be invoked using the class name, that is class name dot method name. And why is it public? Because we want main to be visible outside of this class to the Java runtime environment. Are these three keywords clear to all of you? In case you have any questions, you can ask me by unmuting yourself, or you can pose your questions on the chat window. Yeah, I'm waiting. Are these three terms clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No questions?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Very good, very good.
Sir, in C language, the default will be public, no, sir?
Come again? C.
In C language, the default will be public, no, sir?
No, C doesn't have any visibility specifiers. C++ has, that is public, private, protected.
Yes, sir, that only. C++ has, like, it is default.
Yeah, by default in C++ it will be public, and in Java by default everything will be private.
No, sir. Private
This is first point.
by default.
And the second point is Java introduces a fourth visibility specifier called default. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in C++ it's private, no, sir. If you don't specify the
Yes. So exactly in Java it is the other way around.
Okay.
By default it is public. And okay, there is one more thing. Java introduces a fourth access specifier called default. So as we progress along, that is in unit 2 of your course, you will be studying these access specifiers, public, protected, private, and the fourth one, that is default. And what is the meaning of default will become clear in unit 2. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, why is it static? Can you please explain again?
Okay. See, the main method in order to invoke main method, do you require a object of that class? It's a method, right?
Yes, sir.
How do you invoke a method contained in a class? Okay. Now, note one thing. When I use the term method, it is same as a member function in C++. A member function of C++ is called a method in Java. Okay,
Okay,
is
sir.
that clear? Now,
Okay, okay.
now, how do you invoke a method contained in a class?
Creating an object.
By creating an
Yes.
object of that class. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, who has to execute this program?
Main.
No. Main has to be executed by someone, right?
The compiler.
JRE.
JRE. Okay. JRE doesn't have any idea about which object, and JRE need not have to instantiate an object of every Java program that you are executing. Okay. So if JRE need not have to invoke an object or instantiate an object of a class, then how JRE can execute this method contained in this class? It has to be a static method, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. A static method can be invoked like this: class name dot method name. That is my class dot main. So it is possible to invoke main as my class dot main only if it is a static member of that class.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. I have a question from Ashish Magdum. If we make dynamic main, I didn't understand the question. Is Ashish here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, but what will happen, sir?
Come again?
What will happen?
He's
Okay,
asking what will happen, sir. He's asking what will happen if you make main as dynamic.
well, what is dynamic here? Main is a method. Main is a normal member function, or it's a static member function. Okay, there is nothing like dynamic or you're talking about opposite of static, huh?
Yes, sir.
He's asking if the main function is made dynamic.
Okay. If it is like this, then okay, JRE doesn't have any idea about main. Okay, and JRE cannot invoke it as my class.main. Simple as that. Okay, so how JRE can invoke main using the class? In order for that to happen, we have to make it static. Simple as that. There is nothing called dynamic method. It can either be a normal method or a static method.
So what if we make a non-static?
That is what I'm saying. If you make it as non-static, okay, then JRE doesn't have any idea about which main method being static. So the program doesn't execute at all.
Okay.
Right? And one more thing, one more interesting thing here is, okay, you can have a public static int main system.out.println have a good day. Okay. Now here I have made the return type as int, and main doesn't take any arguments. Okay, and I have made it as static. Okay, be it. Okay, even I can specify it as static int main. Okay. Now what is this called now? Can anybody tell me?
Method. Which one, sir?
Oh, I just wrote one more main. What comes to your mind by looking at this?
Overloading.
Function overloading. Simple. It is function overloading. Simple as that. Correct. But when I execute this program, okay, JRE is interested in only this. Okay, it will never execute this because it looks for the signature public static void for the main method. Okay, though I have an overloaded main function here, it doesn't bother to execute this because the signature of this method is static int, whereas signature of this is public static void main. So this is what the JRE is interested in. Is that clear?
Sir, so if you run this program, the below statement wouldn't be printed?
Will never be executed. Okay, let me show that. Let me show that. Let me save it and come back here. Java my class dot Java. It has, okay, there is an error. Okay, look at the error. It says missing return statement. Okay, that means if I specify the return type as int, I need to return something. Okay, in C or C++, even if you forget a return statement, it was fine. Whereas here, it has to be, there has to be an explicit return statement. Okay. Let me save it again and compile it. It gets compiled, and when I execute it, it prints hello world. It doesn't bother to look at this because this doesn't have the signature as public static void. Okay. Now, then what is the purpose of this method then? This is a normal member function, or this is a normal method. And how do I invoke it? I have to invoke it as what?
Main.
Main.
Calling them. Yeah.
Right? Main will invoke this. If it were not static, then I would have to, okay,
Create an object.
I have to create an object. So how do I create an object? My class OB name of the object equal to new. New is an operator which is used to allocate memory for an object. Okay. New my class. Okay, the operators new and delete have the same meaning as in C++. However, you don't have a delete as a keyword because, can anybody tell me?
Java does it automatically.
Yeah, exactly. Java has automatic garbage collection. Now we have instantiate an object of my class, and then I can say ob.main. Okay, this will print have a good day. Okay, let us save it and come back to our prompt. Compile the program. It has generated the class. So if I say Java my class, it says hello world, and then it has invoked the normal function, that is main, which displays have a good day. Is that clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the second,
The meaning of a public static void. Okay, this is the question that most of the Java interviews are, the recruiters ask when it comes to Java. Okay, why main is a public static void method? Okay, you should be in a position to answer as to why is it public, why is it static, and why the return type is void.
hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if the second method is subjected to function overloading, but instead of
Yeah.
int main, we write void main and change the number of arguments or the type of arguments.
Yeah.
What will happen? Like if we write this as public static void main and change the arguments, it would still be function overloading, right?
Yes, yes, it is still function overload.
Yeah, then you said that the Java compiler looks for public static void as
Yes.
the keywords.
Yeah, but
So-
here main is void main.
Yeah.
Complete your question.
Sir, the second method add public static to the initial keywords.
Here,
Yeah.
okay, you answer me. Is it
Yeah.
function overloading?
No. Yeah.
It is not function overloading.
Different number of
Sir, but it doesn't
arguments.
have any argument, right?
So different arguments.
Yes, sir, it's function overloading.
Yeah, it is function overloading, but the number of arguments is different here. Okay, the first one takes an array of strings, and the second doesn't take anything. Now, what the Java compiler, Java runtime looks for, it looks for this signature. Okay, it doesn't do anything about this. Okay, signature is this.
Okay.
It'll throw an error saying you have to have that string. Yeah, yes,
No. It will be a overloaded function.
No, sir.
Simple
in
as
case the above function is not mentioned.
This, then
Yeah.
it will be an error. That will be an error.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It will be error. We don't call it as an error. We call it as an exception.
Okay, yeah.
So
Got it.
remember this term. Okay, we are introducing few terms here. Okay, so we don't use the term error in Java. We have to use the term exception.
Yeah.
What is the exception here? What is the exception here? I didn't.
Exception is a runtime error.
Yeah. What
When
is the exception in this case?
Come again?
What is the exception in this case, sir?
When JRE tries to run this, it doesn't find a main method.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that is an exception.
Right. Sir, if we remove the static, it would be okay, right? From the second method?
Yes, why not?
Yeah.
This will be a normal method. It won't be a static method anymore. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any further questions on the chat window. Okay. We'll proceed. Okay. Let us now, having to type the source in a editor and then having to come back to the prompt, compile the program and execute it sounds tedious. Okay. So in order to avoid this this difficulty in programming, we have what we call IDE. Okay. So this is the IDE that we will be using, that is NetBeans IDE. However, you are free to use any other IDE. Okay. In fact, some of you expressed that you are unable to find a 32-bit version of NetBeans. Okay. Probably I have the 32-bit version of NetBeans IDE as well as the JDK, that is Java Development Kit, downloaded, and I'll upload it on the classroom so that those who are interested can download it and install it readily. Okay. And one more suggestion is, yeah.
Can we use IntelliJ?
Yes, you are free to use any IDE so long as you are comfortable with the environment. Okay. I personally
every IDE works same, sir.
That is what I am saying. So long as you are comfortable with the environment, you are free to use any IDE, because the IDE is a tool using which you develop applications. Okay. So you are free to use IntelliJ or NetBeans or Eclipse or any other. Okay, there are many other IDEs available for Java. You are free to use any IDE. However, I personally find myself comfortable with NetBeans. That is why I am using NetBeans. Okay, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to follow me or you have to use NetBeans IDE only. Clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now we'll start a new project, Java application. Click on next, then give a suitable name. Okay. My program 1, and then as Rod sir said yesterday, this by default will be selected. Don't deselect it. It has to be it has to remain selected. Only then a class, main class my program 1 will be created. Click on finish, and your environment is ready. Okay, and the first thing that I usually do is to remove these comments. Okay, because these comments are automatically added by the environment, and I feel irritated by looking at these comments, so I just delete them. Okay, because I have. Yeah.
What is that keyword package?
I will come to that shortly. Okay, we'll just delete all this comments. Okay, these comments are for documenting your programs. Okay. However, we have Java Doc as a tool available in JDK, using which we can generate documentation. Now, coming to the question that was raised as to what is this package My Program 1. Okay, it is too early to discuss about the packages. However, at this point, I'll just tell you that the package is, you can visualize it as a folder. You know what is a folder, right?
Collection of classes.
Okay, folder is not a computing term explicitly. Folder is a generic English word. Okay, now you have folders in real life also. And why do you use folders? To organize something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Similarly, a folder of a package is a folder which is used to organize all the related classes and interfaces associated with a Java application. I repeat, package is similar to a folder using which we can organize all the classes and interfaces associated with a Java application or a Java project in one place. And here it is named as My Program 1. Okay. So as soon as I execute this, it will automatically create a folder named My Program 1. Okay. Let us demonstrate that. If I build this, okay, is the screen visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now look carefully at the first message that it has shown. It has shown a message created dir directory c:/user/ whatever. Okay, NetBeans project / My Program 1. Okay, we are interested in this. Okay, what has it done? It has automatically created a folder named My Program 1. Okay, package is basically a folder where all the classes and the associated interfaces. Okay, what are interfaces and what are classes? We'll be discussing as part of unit 2 and 3 subsequently. However, at this point, okay, it has created a folder named My Program 1. It has saved this My Program 1.java in the same folder. It has also created My Program 1.class, and it has stored it in the same folder. And it has also created another file called My Program 1.jar. Okay, jar stands for Java Archive. Okay, this is a file that can be ported across platforms. Okay, if at all you want to move this application to some other platform, you just have to carry this file, myprogram.jar, Java Archive, which will in turn contain everything, that is your classes and interfaces that are compiled and generated bytecodes. Okay, so I hope I answered the question as to what is a package. Okay, though you may not understand what exactly is a package and how do we organize classes and package interfaces, but this should be sufficient to understand as to what is a package and how it works. Some reactions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, we'll do something. Okay, int a equals to 10, b equals 20. Okay, I'll say sum is plus a plus b. Okay, what do you think will be the output of this program?
1020. Sum is 1020. 1020.
Very good, very good. Okay. Let us quickly build it and execute. it shows the output as sum is 1020. Some of you may be wondering as to why is this output 1020 rather than 30. Okay, essentially because
Concatenation takes place.
okay, why concatenation takes place. Okay, who answered this?
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead. It's not a criminal offense. Even if you are wrong, I appreciate it.
sir, because we are not adding it in the beginning, and
You are not adding it.
we are not adding it first before printing it.
Fair enough. But in C, you used to do this, right? Like something like printf.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Sum is %d
In Java, all the values
a plus b.
are converted into string, so it is concatenating.
No, 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 no.
No.
Sir, I think,
Implicit conversation is a strict no in Java. This is what you said, sir, the other day.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
Implicit conversion is a
No,
strict
no, no.
no
no.
in
I
Java.
mean, this is not related to implicit conversions. This is not related to implicit conversions.
Sir, how about you add braces to A and B?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That will work. Okay. Now what will be the output?
30.
Yeah, now it will be 30. Yeah.
Okay.
30.
And here it is not 30. It is 1020. Now you should understand why is it so.
So we are concatenating a string with a numerical variable. So
Simple,
saving
simple,
like that.
simple. Okay. The expression is evaluated from left to right.
Yes, sir.
Correct. The precedence is same. Precedence of the operators is same. So associativity is from left to right. So it finds a string here, and string has to be added with this. So what should happen? String has higher
Concatenation.
precedence, so it obviously performs concatenation here rather than addition. Similarly, now the string looks like sum is 10, that in turn is concatenated with the 20, and the output will be sum is 1020 rather than sum is 30. Okay. Now, how do we do this? Okay, someone said parenthesize it. Correct? Okay, we'll build it again and execute it. It now says sum is 30. Why? Because parenthesized sub-expressions take higher precedence over the entire expression. So this sub-expression is first evaluated. This will evaluate to 30, and then sum is concatenated with 30. So 30 is in fact converted to a string 30. Okay, that is, it something like this happens. Sum is to be concatenated with 30. So what happens here is sum is concatenated with 30, and the resulting string looks like sum is 30. Okay, did you understand what is happening behind the scenes?
Yes, sir.
30 is in fact getting converted to a string, and then is being concatenated with the expression that appears to the left, and the resulting expression looks like sum is 30. Okay, this happens automatically. However, what you can do is you can explicitly convert it using what we call string dot. Okay, what is string here? String is a class, and value of is a method. Okay, method, it's a static method available in this class. So name of the class dot name of the method. So string dot value of followed by this. Okay, so this now looks like this: string dot value of 30. Okay, this will in turn return me 30, which in turn is concatenated with sum is. Okay, so this is happening implicitly, or this is happening behind the scenes automatically, and you are not doing it. Okay, however, it is always a good practice to do it explicitly, that is string dot value of, rather than leaving it to be done by the Java environment. Okay, so if we build it again, and the output will remain the same. It still displays 30, sum is 30. However, we have explicitly converted this integer 30 into its string representation using the value of method associated with the string class, and then it is getting concatenated with sum is. Okay. Fine.
Sir, if we write it as, without the parenthesis, if we write it as a plus b plus and then we write the string as is the sum, it will display 30 is the sum.
Yes, sum is followed by, 30 followed by sum is. Okay. His question is, what if I do this a plus b plus sum is? Okay. Let us look for ourselves.
10, 20 something.
It has compiled successfully, and no prizes for guessing what the output will be. Output will be obviously 30 followed by sum is.
Okay, okay.
Right? Any other questions?
Can you explain what is that system dot out dot println?
It is too early to answer in detail about what this is, but however, Rod sir has already spoken about it yesterday. Let me just slightly add to what he has said. Println is a method. Agree?
Yes.
Okay. Out is an object. Okay. And on this object, you are invoking this method, println. And this object is an object of system class. Okay. So system class dot name of the object dot println. Okay. Now, what this object represents? Okay. Out. What object out represents? Anyone?
Output.
Output.
Output. What?
Data.
No, I'm looking at a specific term.
Displaying
Specific
stream.
word.
Console output.
No. Someone else can try. I'm looking
Sir,
at a
what was the
specific
question?
word. What does this out mean?
Outstream.
Somebody said right.
Outstream.
Outstream.
Not outstream, output stream.
Oh.
Correct?
Print stream.
Okay, from your C and C++ background, you know that there are 3 streams associated with any program.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you execute any program, 3 streams are automatically made available to the program. What are they? Output stream, input stream, and
Input output stream.
error stream. Okay. Output stream and error stream are directed towards the console, that is the screen or the terminal, whereas input stream is connected to the keyboard. True?
Yes.
Okay. Output stream is called out in Java. It is available as system.out. Input stream is available as system.in. And error stream is available as system.err. Clear?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So did you understand what is the meaning of system.out.println?
Yes. So the print ln thing means go to the next line, right?
Yeah.
Print ln, that means print and go to the next line. Right?
Print followed by feed a new line.
Okay.
Feed a new line.
Yeah.
If I say print and system.out.println print program terminated, look at the output. It says 30 sum is program terminated all in the same line. Okay. However, I would have appreciated if this message program terminated was displayed on the next line. So in order for that to be done, I use println rather than print. Okay. Println.
So can we use backslash n?
Yes, in that case you have to use C style printf statement.
Okay, sir.
Okay, this was made clear yesterday. Okay. However, I want all of you to come out of your C hangover, because you are learning a pure object-oriented language. Okay, Java is a pure OO language. Okay. How about C++? Okay, I don't say this as a pure OO language. It is a hybrid OO language. Why? Because in C++ allows procedural programs also. Okay, can you write C style programs in C++? Yes, you can.
Yes.
Okay, so C++ is not a pure OO language, whereas Java is a pure OO language, because everything is contained in a class. Everything is encapsulated inside a class. Okay. So everything revolves around classes in Java. That is why Java is a pure OO language. You cannot write procedural programs using Java. You can only write OO or object-oriented programming programs using Java. Okay. So Java or another language called Python that you will be studying in the next semester, or Scala. Okay, these are some of the pure object-oriented languages. Okay, I hope I answered the question as to what is system.out.println and what is the meaning of out.
Yes, sir.
Out
Yes, sir,
is the
regarding
output stream.
so
Yeah.
regarding that out, you mentioned that out is an output stream.
Yeah.
But streams are completely different from objects, right? But in this scenario, system is a class in internal package, in the internal package, and out is a particular object in that system package, right?
Yes, but in order to understand how exactly out is, okay, system is a class. Okay, system is not a package. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's what, sir. But
Okay. There is everything is revolved around packages in Java, and in order to import, in order for your application to make use of the class, okay, the natural question that you may ask is, where is this class defined?
yeah.
Okay, does that question arise in your mind?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't defined a class named system here. Okay, if I had defined a class named system, then I would have used it. Okay, but I haven't defined a class named system. Then where is this class available?
And Java
In
library.
the when we library.
The Java library. Java library.
Okay, Java library. Okay, library is a term that we use in previous languages that you have studied. Okay,
Yes.
I just said a few minutes back that all the classes and interfaces are organized in what we call a
Folder.
Yeah.
package.
Package. Yeah.
Package. Okay, so system
Or
is a
module.
class contained in a module. Okay, Python we call it as a module. In Java we call it as a package. Okay, now system is a class available in a module, in a package. Which package? Have I imported any package here?
No.
Okay, import is a statement that is something similar to include of C or C++. Okay, you are using hash include IOStream. Okay, now did I include any package here? No, I haven't.
No, sir.
No,
Okay,
No, sir.
then what happens is java.lang is a package Okay, java.lang is a package that is automatically imported by all Java applications. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so import java.lang, okay, .star. This statement is not required. Why is it not required? Because it is automatically imported, and system is a class available in a package named lang. Clear? But apart from this, okay, out is a stream, and this stream is an object of another class, okay, that is stream class. Am I
Yes, sir. Yes.
making myself clear? Am I making sense, or am I getting you confused?
Yes, yes, I got it. I got it.
Out is a stream. It's an object of a stream class. Okay.
Yes, yes.
System is a class available in lang, and out is an object of a stream class, IO stream class. Okay. Now, when I talk about inheriting from more than one class, what is it called as?
Inheritance.
Inheritance. Okay. More specifically, it is called multiple inheritance. Makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Unfortunately, Java doesn't support multiple inheritance. Okay. Then you may ask, I just said out is an object of another class. Okay. Now here IO stream is no more a class here, it's a interface. Okay. So that is why I said when someone asked, can you explain this? It is too early to explain in detail as to how exactly it works, because we need to understand interfaces in Java, which will be the topic of discussion in Unit 3. So till then, reserve your question. However, at this point, I hope I made sense as to what system.out.println is, at least to some extent.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, with this understanding, I hope you are ready to, okay, all of you have access to a machine, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you quickly write a program, okay, that will read? Okay, I still need to discuss IO. Okay, I'll come back later, so shortly. Okay, at this point, let us come back to our discussion. Okay, now so far we have seen how to print using the println or print or printf and so on. Okay, how do I accept input? Okay, user input. Okay, I want to read two values from the user and probably want to display the sum. Okay, so in C or C++, you used to use functions such as scanf or cin. Remember?
Yes.
Now,
Yes,
in
sir.
keyboard input is slightly involved in Java. Okay, so listen to the discussion carefully here. Okay, I want all of you to listen carefully. In order to read input from the user, there are more than one ways of doing it. Okay, you have wrapper classes such as buffered reader class or scanner class and so on. Okay, one of the simplest methods is to use the scanner class. Okay, so in order to read input, I have to use a scanner class. That is something like, okay, you can visualize it as in dot next int to be assigned to A. Okay, does this make sense to you? In A equal to in dot next int, that is read the next integer value from the keyboard and assign it to A. Now in is the input stream, let us say.
Yes.
Okay, but you can see a red underline here, indicating that it cannot find a symbol named in. Okay, so in order to read user input, I have to use what I said, a scanner class. So I need to import the scanner class. And where is the scanner class available? The
util package.
Scanner class is available in a package called java.util. Okay, java.util is the package where the scanner class is available. So I have to import the scanner class. Okay. So import java.util.scanner. Scanner is a class, and in order to use, okay, the next int is a method available in scanner class. Makes sense?
Yes,
Just as I have next int, I have next double, next byte, and so on. Okay. But I am interested in using next int because I am reading two integer values. So I said next int is a method available in the scanner class. How do I use it? Okay. Unfortunately, next int is not a static method. That was a hint. So how do I use, or how do I invoke next int method now?
Create an object of a scanner class.
I have to
Yeah.
I have to create an object of scanner class. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And to the scanner class, I need to specify from where I am reading the input.
System.
From where I am reading the input.
System.in.
Now, why should I say specify from where I am reading the input?
Java.lang from the package.
No. The question is, why should I specify to the scanner class when I create an object to the constructor? Why should I specify from where I am reading the input? Is the question clear?
Because it can
Yes,
be
sir.
from a file also.
Very good, very good. The input can either be from the keyboard, or it could be from a file, or it could be from a socket. That is a network connection. Okay, that is, you can read the data available. Okay, your HTTP, that is the browser or the server that you always use. Okay, server sends the data and it is displayed on the browser. Okay, how is that read? The data that is pushed is read. It is read through what we call a network socket. Okay, let us not get into the details here, but as someone rightly said, the input could be either from a keyboard, or it could be from a file, or it could be from a network connection also. So here I am saying that I am reading the input from the standard input stream, that is system.in. Okay, now in is, what is this in?
Object name.
Object of scanner class.
It's an object of scanner class, and this object is connected to standard input stream. Connected to the standard input stream, that is system.in. Clear? Now I can say system.out.println, print, enter a number, and to read I have to say a equal to in dot. Okay, you can see, okay, next byte, next int, next short, and so on. Okay, I am interested in next int. Similarly, I'll just copy and paste it again, enter and read it into variable b. Now I can say sum equals a plus B, and then display sum is followed by sum. Is this clear to all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Let us build it. Execute. Yeah.
Output window font, if you could increase.
This one.
Right click and settings.
How about now?
Yeah, it's okay.
Enter first number, let me say 12. Enter second number 23. It says sum is 35. Okay. So in order to read the user input or the keyboard data, you have multiple ways of doing it. Okay. What are the other ways of doing it? That is the use of buffered reader class. Okay. We will take it up when we discuss about the different classes as part of our unit 3 or 4. But as of now, the simplest way of reading user data is to use an object of scanner class, and attach that to the standard input stream available as system.in. Okay. So did you understand how to use the scanner class to read user input?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain the 6th line again?
Yes, sir.
6th line.
Yeah.
Is it clear that there are multiple ways of reading user input, and one of them is to use an object of scanner class, right? Okay. But scanner class is available in a package named java.util. So I have to explicitly import this class available in this package. Okay. Once this scanner class is available to me, then I have to instantiate an object of scanner class. Okay. How do I instantiate an object of a class?